Cool. So today is Tuesday Traders Mayhem, and I'm excited to have you all here participating. And thank you all for taking part. Thank you all for being present. Today's Traders Mayhem is a bit special. Why? Not just a bit, a lot special. Why? Because we've got an amazing special announcement at the end of this presentation, at the end of this session, to really help us level up as traders, right? You know, we talk about it. You know, some of you have asked ways in which we can help and support you, and we found a way in which we want to do that. So I want you guys to be tuned in. I want you guys to be plugged in. If you know someone who should be on this call, make sure they are plugged in. You know, message them. I hope you guys have your notepad. I always say this at every call. I hope you guys have your notepads and pens ready, okay? Take notes. And it's going to be interactive. You know, I want to have a chance to speak with you guys. Don't want it just to be me, right? So I want to have a chance to actually hear how your progress is in terms of trading psychology. So I'm just going to share my screen and start on our session today. So I've named this Level Up Season, and the reason why is because we are taking it up a notch, right? And so today what we're going to talk about are these key themes. We're going to talk about trader psychology and the importance around trader psychology, what that means to people, what it means around the mindset of a trader. You know, we talk a lot about mindset as from the self-development standpoint, but specifically for trading, you know, I want to just hone in on that. And then I want to touch a bit on risk management, and there's a reason why I want to talk about that in particularly today. And then we're going to speak about iGoTrade. Now, most of you should now be familiar with iGoTrade. Most of you should now be, used to seeing these iGoTrade popping up on your phone. Most of you should now have access to iGoTrade. And you know, what we want to do is talk about a little bit about ways in which, you know, smart tricks and stuff that you can do. And then, of course, we're going to have our special announcement. So when we talk about trader psychology, you know, what words come to mind? What words, when we think about trader psychology, what words come to mind? You know, pop them into the group chat. I want to hear what you guys think when I talk about trader psychology. What words come to mind when we think about traders' mindset? What kind of themes, what kind of feelings do you get as a trader? Emotions, okay? What type of emotions do you feel? Strategy, okay, having a strategy, yes, yes. So when we talk about emotions, what makes a trader quite successful? Controlling anger, okay, interesting. Mindset, cool. Excitement, fantastic. You know, triggers, cool. Trigger fingers. Reactive, okay. Responsive, reactive, discipline, optimism, not being greedy, patience, you guys are hitting it on a nail, right? There are so many different words out there when we think about trading. You know, I've just put a couple in here, right? Sniper, having sniper focus, being able to be focused, managing your stress, not smashing the laptop, being in control of your emotions, wishful thinking versus strategy, winning streak versus losing streak, being consistent versus being inconsistent, having a sense of happiness, trading from your happy place. You know, a lot of us, when you think about trading, you know, we think about the act of trading and we just go ahead and do it. But actually, those who have been able to identify ways in which gives them a happy result, so i.e. they've got themselves into a process system of seeing results. So I'm talking like, if you're someone who knows that you are grumpy if you do not have your cup of coffee in the morning, or you know that you need to have the days when you're on your highest, when you've got your, you know, you've got your happy pills in terms of you've had your endorphins from eating your favorite pasta. or you need to have a walk, get that adrenaline pumping in the morning before you can have a good day. Whatever it is that you know you need to have, and to ensure that you have a good day trading, and you're in a good mindset to trade, you should be incorporating that in your trading strategy. For me, I like to listen to music. So I like to listen to gospel music in the morning. It gets me all nice and happy. Sometimes I mix it up, put a bit of Beyonce in there. But I like listening to music, and it gets me into that mood where I'm happy and I'm ready to, take on trading. I'm ready to take on my day, and yeah, I need to listen to music. Plus, I pretty much have the same breakfast every day when I do have breakfast. But yeah, so in that scenario, like, do people have a trading game plan when it comes to setting their day up? If you have a trading game plan when it comes to setting your day up, can I get a number 1 in the group chat? Or if you haven't, and you are now going to think about incorporating that, can I get a number 2 in the group chat? 1-ish. 2. Great. It's all important. It's all important about the environment in which you trade in, because you've got to think about what is within your control. As a trader, especially as retail traders, we are not in control of what will happen in the markets. So therefore, a lot of the stress, good, that's a good thing. Don't trade when you're angry. A lot of the stress that comes with trading is because when things don't go our way, or when things don't go as anticipated. So we're not in control of what's happening in the markets. However, we can alleviate that stress if we are in control of things that are within our circle of control. So that is how we've set our environment to trade, in terms of making sure we've got a routine together, so to enable us to be in the most optimal mindset to be able to attack the trading. Being able to have a good strategy. If we're just going in wishful thinking, I put the word wishful in there, then by the end of the day, it's betting. It's not trading. Trading, the difference between trading and spread betting is that you are going in with a strategy, okay, and with risk management. So if I think about trader psychology, like I mentioned about the strategy, as much as it is about having a solid strategy, trader psychology is as important to developing a consistent streak of trading. You need to have both. They both need to balance, being able to have a strategy in place, but also being able to have the psychology and mindset to enable you to yield results when it comes to trading. Now, successful traders don't only develop strategies, but they also become more familiar with their own psychological traits. So, for example, someone mentioned that they don't trade when they're angry. For someone else, being angry or having that, like adrenaline, that pump in your heart, that might make you a better trader. I'm not saying it will, but it might. Okay, if you're tired, you're not concentrating well, maybe you shouldn't trade. If you are had a bit to drink, maybe you shouldn't trade. If you are happy and you know that you're in a good mood, then yes, maybe that is the optimal place where you need to trade from. Or if you're someone who is, for example, when we talk about psychological traits, for example, I'm very stubborn. I'm naturally very stubborn. And in certain situations, that is a good thing. In other situations, it's terrible. In other situations, it's terrible. Because it means that I will not let go of a losing trade, because I think, no, it's going to go up. I'm going to keep it in. I don't care. I'm going to hold it. And sooner or later, I just hit my stop loss and I'm out. And I'm like, okay, great. I knew it was going to hit, but I didn't care. I wanted to hold it because I was stubborn. And I thought, no, my strategy works, it's going to happen. And other times, I have overtraded. In the past, I used to overtrade because I don't know what the technical term is, but I get I just want to do something consistently. It's like I create a habit from doing something consistently. And so I get addicted. That's it, addictive personality. So, for example, I can sit down and binge watch Netflix. And I'm like, I'm only going to watch one episode and then that's it. 5 hours later, I'm still sitting there watching Netflix. I have addictive personality. So it's the same with trading. I would say I'm only going to go in for one trade. 10 trades later, I'm still trading. So I have to make sure I limit myself because I know that I have that psychological trait where I'm easily addictive to things that are good. I'm having fun at. I would always want to keep going. So that's why with trading, I have to limit myself and give myself targets that support my trading goals and ensure that I have my psychological traits in check. So what kind of psychological traits have you guys noticed in yourself? What kind of traits you have? Or what you found to be difficult or what have you found that you've been doing a lot? Are you compulsive or are you patient? Panic and greed. Wow, that is probably one of the top traits that a lot of new traders or even professional traders who've been seasoned. Revenge trading. I like this. Revenge trading. I'm going to get you. You thought you could run away from me, but I am the one who hits the buy and sell. I'm in control. Knowing when to quit, and it's all part of the process. It's all part of the process. It's all part of identifying impatience and greed. But honestly, we all go through that process. But it's all part of the process. It's all part of identifying what those psychological traits are and how do you therefore not overcome it, but ensure you have a strategy in place to ensure that it takes into account those psychological traits. So with that said, I wanted to share a little bit about my journey as a trader, and talk about some of all of the different things that happen through my trading. So, for example, when I started about 2.5 years ago, like I said, I'm someone who's quite addictive personality. I can be a bit compulsive. I quite like quick results. I'm very, very impatient. So when I started trading, I was one of those people when they would tell me about risk management, only risk, 0.01 lots, use 0.01 lot size for anything under 50 to 100 pounds. I was like, go hard or go home. I want the whole pie. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go in one lot size. And I would go in with some crazy lot size, and sometimes it would win. And when it lost, the amount of accounts I blew, it was crazy. It was crazy. The amount of accounts that I blew. And when I was losing, because I was losing, for me, amounts that I was putting amounts into my trade account that for me, I could deal with losing. I wasn't feeling it until near the end of a couple of months, and I'm realizing, oh wow, everything counts, everything mounts up, and I'm like, I'm losing a lot and I'm not doing anything about it. So then I had to start changing strategy. Then I started trading everything and anything. Everyone, I was one of those people, for example, how the news around oil just came about, and oil's dropping, everyone's looking for a point to buy. I would hear something like that and be so reactive that even if I don't know how to trade it, I would go in. I'm laughing because I'm just reminiscing about the nonsense I used to do. I would go in, just go in some lot size and then trade it, and then hope for the best. And surely, it never worked out. It just never worked out. It wasn't a recipe for success. Let's put it that way. It wasn't a recipe for success. And for another experience that I had was when I decided, I think for me, when my turning point was, is when I was about to throw in the towel because I had lost a lot of money. I didn't understand risk management. I didn't understand, the benefits of having a strategy and a target. I just wanted to make as much money as I can. I honestly, when I got to that point, I was like, okay, I'm done. I tried it. Nobody can say I didn't try it. I tried it, but I didn't really try because I didn't follow the strategy. I didn't listen to advice. I didn't take into account trader psychology. I didn't take into account risk management. I didn't even have a strategy. I was just closing my eyes and going for it. I didn't have a target, nothing. And it made me really have to reflect. And when someone reached out to me, who was really pivotal in my trading journey and said, Jen, your head is all over the place, scattered. You need to focus and master one thing. You can't be a jack of all trades off the cuff, right? Either you want to do Forex, you want to do index, you want to do Bitcoin. What is it that you want to do? I was like, I want the one that's going to give me the most results quickly. And he got me into that because I told him, look, I don't like sitting around waiting for days on end. That's not my style. For other people, that's their style. For me, I'm very impatient. So I need to see results quick. I need to see results quick. And so anyways, long story short, someone got me into trading DAX. I decided to commit to trading DAX and learning it and mastering it. And again, my stubbornness would not let me stop until I got it. And I would say I started seeing results, from the very beginning. But then I started seeing consistent results, right? After a year of me just trading solely DAX. So no, that became my strategy. And based on that, I started setting myself weekly targets. I started giving myself challenges to reaching my trading goals. And that's where I have been able to build to being a trader that I am today. So I wanted to share it because I feel like a lot of us traders do not share our journeys. And so it's kind of difficult to relate or see what can potentially come in the future when you are starting off fresh. I actually want to have an opportunity for one of our seasoned traders in the group to share his experience as well as a trader, some of the ups and downs, and what was the turning point in his trading journey to get him where he is now. So Akin, I don't know if you're free to, but it would be great if you can unmute yourself and just give a bit of like background on, your journey as a trader and what was the turning point, specifically around trader psychology as well and strategy. If you're around, Akin, that would be great. I can see you lurking in the group chat. Oh, I thought I saw you lurking. Oh, Akin. Okay, maybe he's gone shy, or maybe he's got connection problem. I'm okay, fine. I will move on. But I will tell a little bit of Akin's story. He's been a trader for now 5.5 years. His way of style of trading, he decided to learn and master certain. Oh, you're there. Okay. Come on, Akin, then. Unmute yourself.
All right. How you doing, everybody?
Hi, Akin.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
How is you? How is everything?
Everything's fantastic. Guys,
Okay.
can you give me some flames for Akin, one of our seasoned veterans in the game?
Oh,
Fantastic.
boy. Yeah. So
Akin, tell us,
yeah,
how has
I'm
your journey been as a trader?
I have 3.5 years now.
Okay, and in that time, what was the turning point that made you consistent in trading?
Basically, I think everybody has a drive to life. Actually, that's one. And two, uh, I lost a lot of money when I started trading. So because I wasn't consistent at what I was doing, I was like trying to trade without learning until I just got to a point. I said no. Whatever I do, I must be the best. So I think that was the turning point because I wanted to be the best. I like being the best at whatever I do. So it got to a point I was like, nah, forget the money, count the pips. So I started with 100 pips per week, 200 pips per week, 500 pips per week. Now we are doing 10,000 pips per week sometimes. So I think it's all about trying to get the best out of yourself.
Wow, 10,000 hits.
Yeah, yeah,
Let me repeat that 10,000, 10,000 hits.
yeah, yeah.
Standard, really, right? I can. It's just simple.
Yeah, used to it.
So how
Yeah.
long would you say, in terms of your, your 5-year tenure, how long would you say it took you to get to a point where you are getting 10,000 pips?
I think it took me like 6 months thereabout.
Okay. So 6 months into your journey, you were started getting 10,000 pips a week.
Yeah, and I was very consistent. Even
Yeah.
when I lost, I think I put in a like 10,000 bucks, like $10,000. I think I lost 8,000. I will do 2,000. So when I withdrew the $2,000, I now opened the demo account of $1,000. So I told myself I was going to be consistent with that $1,000, and it was just a demo. So
Yeah.
I took the demo as if it was my real money, and it was just 1,000. So I was consistent with the $1,000. At intervals, I do analysis, and I started learning different strategies. And till I now go to a point whereby I have 5 different strategies for confirmations before I even take a trade. So I think it took some time, but I think it's worth it. It's paying off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
It's paying
thank
off.
you, Akin. I feel like you are dropping some gems. Guys, some of the key things that Akin was talking about, what were the key takeaways? What do people think? Drop this from 8,000. Process, okay. Not giving up. Consistency. Having a strategy. He learned 5 different strategies. 5, you know. Not only that, demo. He realized that he was losing money. He then did a self-assessment and he was honest with himself and then decided, okay, cool, let's reassess, let's go back to the drawing board, let's demo, and be consistent in demo and then reapply it to the real world. You know, he learned from his mistakes. He didn't keep doing the same mistakes over and over again. So it's all about, but you have to have this type of mindset or willingness to want to be coachable, willingness to want to be focused on what your goal is, and be willing to learn from your mistakes. Every L is a possible learning lesson, okay? So thank you, Akin. That was absolutely amazing. Oh, me too. I thought I was doing amazing with my pip count a week, 1,000 pips, but I got space. Do you know what? It makes me excited because it makes me think that the possibility or I'm on track to hitting that 10,000 pip a week mark as well. So it gives me hope that if you keep going with a strategy that knows that works for you, that you can get to a point where you're making money consistently. So I just want to encourage each and every one of you guys. If you're on this journey of learning to trade, it's not an overnight thing. However, the unique position that you are in is that you have traders who have been through that journey, you can learn from their mistakes and learn from their trades. Obviously, your journey is going to be personal to you, but what we can do is sort of show you or give you gems like Akin did, to help you get to a point where you are making consistent money. So I'm just going to quickly check the chat. Think of how many hours of learning were you doing daily? So Akin, how many
Right?
hours of learning were you doing daily?
6 hours.
6 hours. So
Yeah, six
Akin is
hours.
pretty much a full-time trader. Akin is pretty
Yeah,
much a full-time trader. So
yeah.
that's
Some
not
people say,
everyone's story. But listen, I work full-time. I have a full-time job, and my job can sometimes take me out for 16 hours a day. But I still find the time to do and learn strategies and learn the skill. Why? Because I know for me that this is a vehicle that can reward me financial freedom. So rather than spending all my time at work, I'm thinking about ways in which I can make money work for me. All right. So risk management, that kind of ties us nicely into risk management. How are you managing your trade account? How are people, do people understand when we talk about risk management? Be honest. If you understand, press one, type in one. If you don't, if risk management just sounds like some made up, press number two. Okay, cool. 1, 2, a mixture of both. Now, risk management to me is simply this. How do I ensure that if in a losing week, I only lose a proportion of my account that I'm willing to lose? So for example, say for example, in any given week, I'm willing to risk 10% of my account in any given week. So if I have £100 in my account, I'm willing to lose £10. And that's it. You know, if and that's it. That's all I want to lose. If I lose more than that, then I haven't managed my risk accordingly across my trade. And that's why it's important to know when you go into trade, what your risk management is. Now, a nice sort of risk to reward ratio is typically, okay, cool, I'm not going to risk a trade if I don't believe I'm going to get triple more than what I'm willing to risk. So if I'm going to risk like £1 of my account, I'm expecting to get £3 out of that. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, can I please get a number 1 in the group chat? And this is why tracking and logging your trades and keeping a track of your trades is important, so that you can actually monitor. When you're on your MT4 screen or on your desktop, you're just in live, so you can't see whether you've risked the majority of your account for the week or whatever. You don't know. But if you've now got to track it and document it, you can then make a valid assessment to see, okay, cool, have I been sticking to my risk management agreement that I've put aside for myself? Other things about risk management. I would always say, don't risk more than what you're looking to make. What I mean by that is, I see people risking 50% of their account to make 5%. So I'm seeing people risk £50 to just make £5. Or people risking £30 just to make £5. Like, don't. And it may sound so simple when you say it out loud, but when you are running with trades and you have 10 trades open on the same trade, thinking, oh, because it's come from a signal or it's come from iGo trade, I'm just going to put in 10 trades and I'm going to get that big hit lottery. What will happen is if one of those trades, just one of those 10 trades goes into minus 10 pips, you blow your account. I'm laughing because I'm talking to my younger self in terms of trading setup, right? You will blow your account. I can more than guarantee you that the day that you think, oh, I'm going to put in 20 trades, right? Or 0.10, and you've only got £200 in your account. It just takes one trade, one trade to go to minus 5-10 pips, and you've blown your account. Why? Because you've over leveraged your account. Now, when we talk about over leveraging, right? When you're on your MT4 screen, there is a section that says margin, right? And typically that number will move as in when your trade value moves, okay? Now, if that margin falls below, depending on your trader, but typically when it falls below 90%, that margin, you are at risk of becoming margin called. If you ever get those, if you're with AxiTrader, listen, I used to get emails from I get a number 3 in the group chat. Be honest. Be honest. If you've got oh
You're freezing, Jen. You're freezing.
a number 1 in the group chat.
Jen, you were freezing.
Oh no. Okay. Am I back now?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So what I was essentially saying is that people will risk their account. Oh, okay, emails from Axie, cool. So I was saying with the emails from Axie, if you have multiple trades open and one happens to go into minus 10 pips, you could potentially be at risk of blowing your account. You will get over leveraging email. You'll get email or margin call emails from your broker if your margin falls below a certain amount. So most brokers typically are either 90% or 50%, or even 20%, sorry. You start getting emails, right? There was one point where I was getting them every 5 minutes. I'll be honest with you. So learn from me. Do not do what I was doing, okay? Like, you do not want to be in a position where you receive those emails. Why you don't want to be in a position? Because it's not good risk management, okay? You don't want to over leverage your account, because when you over leverage your account like that, and then you know that you're gonna have that trade is going to do what you expect it to do, but because you were eager and greedy and you went in 20 times, you lose out, and you lose big. Is rather unfortunate. However, if you manage your risk accordingly, and you just risk the amount that you need to risk for your account, then you win. And that's the thing. Everyone, don't think about trying to make that big win in one trade. Think about how are you going to compound your account. All right? How are you going to make £100 become £110, to come £160 to 230? Like, don't try to go from 100 to 600 in one day. It may happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but you're going to try and do that on one trade multiple times. You may be at risk of blowing your account. So I'll just say, depending on the amount that's in your account, just think about it. Are you risking, where you put your stop loss, are you risking more than what you're looking to make? So another tip I would say is that have separate accounts to trade separate things, different currency pairs. So for example, many of you guys know I trade DAX. Now DAX has a higher leverage in terms of my broker's account, what I would use, than if I was to trade other currency pairs. So I will separate, I have a separate account which I trade my DAX trades and any indices via, and I have a separate account for what I use to dibble and dabble into currency pairs. I don't tend to trade currency pairs, but when I do, that's what I do. I separate them out so that if I'm trading DAX, I'm trading DAX, and that is not going to impact on or make my account seem over leveraged because I have a mixture of indices and currency pairs that I'm trading in one account. So I would say to you guys, a great tip is to, you know, lower the leverage across your account, is to separate your trades across accounts. So say, for example, you have a budget of £100, have an account with 50, another account with 50. Or you have a budget of 200, just split them, or however you think you want to split it. £30 in one, 70 in the other, it doesn't matter. As long as, you know, you separate the types of trades you're doing. So for example, it could also align to your strategy. So say, for example, strategy-wise, you know, you are typically a scalper, but you also want to have a swing trade, a long-term trade that you want to hold for a while. I would potentially advise maybe doing that in a separate account, so then it won't impact your daily intraday trades that you're doing in another account. So just separate accounts for different strategies, different types of products that you're trading. If that makes sense, can I please get a number 3 in the group chat? Fantastic. Okay, great. And you know, in terms of opening multiple accounts, if you've got a broker account already, it is very easy just to add an account. You just add an account. They may ask you what you need it for. Just say for your trading strategy, and they will give it. They'll open it same day usually, and you know, you can split between the two. So that's why I would encourage you to do so. So I go trade tips. So how many of you guys trade I go trade? If you trade I go trade, put in number 1 in the group chat. Cool. So many people know about I go trade. Many people are familiar with it. I'm gonna just share my screen real quick and just walk through I go trade. Now, so I want to walk through I go trade. Now, me and other traders were discussing this, and we were looking at it, and we were like, you know, some traders, when I saw DMC had hit TP1, I was like, that was really great. I was happy for him. But if I'm really honest, I was also pleasantly surprised. Let's put it that way. So you tend to figure out what traders you like, right? Am I right? So, you know, Gus has been doing amazing. Brian even has been doing well as well. DMC, Daniel, you know, I think he went through a rough patch, right? But he looks to be doing well now as well. But one of the things that we notice as traders, that is quite typical, is this. Stop loss of 50 pips, TP1 is always set at 20. Now, of course, TP4 is 200, but in reality, the likelihood of a trade hitting TP4 is not as guaranteed. I think the likelihood of trades hitting TPs reduces as you go down the list of TPs. So TP1 has the highest probability. Okay, I'll come to that question in a moment. TP1 has the highest probability, TP2 is the second highest, the further down you get, the less probable it is. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It's just less probable, unless it's one of those banging trades from like that has looked at these trade options and, you know, have identified, and it looks like it's going to bang. So here you're risking 50 pips for 20 pips. Now, in your opinion, would you believe that is a good risk to reward ratio? If you think it's a good risk to reward ratio, can I please get a number 1 in the group chat? If you think it's a bit questionable, can I get a number 2 in the group chat? Cool. Cool, exactly. Now, I'm sure many of you are twin trading. When I say twin trading, I mean that you are opening more than one trade at a time, all right? So you may open one trade to hit TP1, one trade to hit TP2, you know, one trade to hit TP3. Or you may just have one trade that has TP4 as the TP, but then every time a TP's hit, you're moving your stop loss, yeah, to whatever that previous TP was, it's become stop loss. Now, regardless of what your strategy is, you know, this risk of 50 pips, for 20 pip gain, it is not the most, it can be improved. Now, I see that it's not always the case that it's a 20 pip, a 50 pip loss. I saw one that was 33 pips. Yeah, Brian, his one was 33 pips. So it's not always 50 pips. However, imagine now you've got how many trades? If you're someone who's getting all of the TPs and you're putting in trades for all of the TPs, there's a likelihood that you could potentially be risking a whole load of your account for not much pips, right? So one of the things that is a potential way in which you can manage this, and I will encourage you to demo it, is if a trade has now hit TP1, for example, right? If a trade has now hit TP1, there's two things. You can decide whether you want to reduce your risk by reducing your stop loss, or waiting to see a retracement before entering. So for example, this trade here, which is on minus 12 pips, you know, if you're someone who's comfortable and you've looked at the charts and you think, you know what, this looks like it's doing a retracement, and it looks like it's still gonna bang, then yeah, you go in when it's further down in its retracement. So let's say it gets to minus 30 pips and you go in, and therefore you have a 20 pip loss rather than a 50 pip loss. And you know, you have a 20 pip gain rather than a 40 pip gain rather than a 20 pip gain in your TP1. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, please put a number 1 in the group chat. So instead of so we're waiting. How do you reduce? So say for example, right now it's at minus 22 pips here, yeah? So you can wait to see if it's going to get to minus 30 pips, right? And therefore this stop loss is no longer minus 50, it's technically minus 20 pips. So you've got a 20 pip stop loss. However, should the trade do well and hit TP1, because you went in 30 pips, the prior 30 pips below, or yeah, 30 pips below the price that it was entered in, you gain 30 plus the 20 pips here. So you gain 50 pips, right? You gain 50 pips and now you have a 20 pip stop loss and you gain 50 pips. So now your risk to reward ratio is much more in your favor. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, can I get a number 1 in the group chat? Great. cool. So if it retraces, you know, right now it's at 20 pips. So that's, you know, if you went in at 20 pips, you know, your stop loss instead of being 50 will be 30 pips. But your gain will be the 20 pips plus 20 is 40 pips. Yeah. So that's one way you can do it. Another way you could potentially do it is go in after TP1 is hit. Now, this one is a bit risky because a lot of trades tend to do a massive retracement. But if it's like a trade, I'm trying to find an example. Okay. If it's like a trade like this, no, I wouldn't. Okay. If it was a trade whereby TP1 had been hit, cool. And then the current price was at like, I thought you were to enter. No, so just to clarify, guys, what I'm doing here is showing tricks and ways in which you, in addition to how you normally do, in ways to you know, navigate algo trade. Now, typically, you will go in straight when it's announced. You want to go in between a region of -10 and 10 pips of current price, and you want to go and aim for TP1. Now, what I'm saying is that from a risk management standpoint, risking 50 pips for a 20 pip gain isn't ideal because you're risking more than what you're looking to gain, right? So what I'm showcasing is ways in which you can navigate around that. So ways in which you can navigate around that is get in when current price is minus, you know, 30 or 20 pips, right? And it looks like, if you are comfortable and it looks like it's going to retrace and go back up or go back down, whichever direction you're looking for, you go in at that point. Okay, so that's the idea behind it, and that way you reduce, ultimately you're reducing the stop loss or the risk because you're getting in a better position, right? And another way to do it is, okay, if TP1 is hit, then there's a more likelihood that TP2, if it's on a strong trajectory, TP2 may well be hit. And the difference between TP2 and so one way in which you can do that is, okay, great. If the entry level was here and TP1 is here and you get in at TP1, right? The difference between your entry level and TP1 is 20 pips. So now, if you got in with entry price TP1, you are giving yourself a 20 pip stop loss rather than a 50 pip stop loss. Okay, and then therefore there is a likelihood that price may retrace a bit, but will eventually come back to hitting TP2 or even TP3. And that way, instead of having a 50 pip stop loss, you have a 20 pip stop loss. So that's another way in which you can do it. Let me walk through that one more time just so it's clear. So if a trade has hit TP1, okay, what you could do, or you could set a pending order for entry at price of TP1, okay, and set your stop loss at entry or at the original entry price, okay, and the difference between these two equals 20 pips. So 20 pips, and the gain is 30 pips for TP2. So again, you have a higher reward to risk ratio because you're risking 20 pips for 30 pips. If this makes sense, can I get a number 2 in the group chat? Now we can always do is it not going to cut you out when you move stop loss to secure the bag and it retraces? So so that's a good question, Kofi. So what it is that yeah, it could retrace back to entry point, but what you're doing is risking 20 pips as opposed to risking 50 pips on a trade. Okay, fantastic. So I just wanted to quickly go through that because I wanted to ensure that you know, people learn a few tricks and trades that, you know, if you are someone who's going to be going and using iGo Trade, and there's a reason why I went through that. Can I get drum roll, please? There's a reason why I was talking about tricks to how to do iGo Trade. There's a reason why I've talking through trader psychology, your mindset on trader psychology. Woo! There's a reason why I've spoken about sticking to target. Here we go.
You said that because I swear to God.
But there's a reason why I was speaking about all of this, because what we wanted to announce is level up season. It is level up season. And what better way to level up, guys? What better way to level up than to really come through with a trader's challenge? A trader's challenge. Guys, if I told you you can make from £100 and build that to 10,000, would you want to do that? £1,000 to 10. Now this ain't for the light-hearted people, guys. This isn't for the light-hearted people. This is for people who are ready. You're ready. People who are ready. You guys are saying you're ready. Okay then, you're ready. So let me talk through this trader's challenge. Let me share my screen and talk through this trader's challenge. Guys, you know, we've been working on this. We wanted to make sure it was something that, you know, we work towards, that people can do regardless of what level of discipline they're in. You know, we wanted to make sure we had something that would enable you guys to really level up. So here is the challenge. £100 or dollars, or Grenadian, what is the currency? I think 100 to 10,000 in 10 weeks. That is it. 10, 10, 10. 100 to 10,000 in 10 weeks. 100 to 10,000 in 10 weeks. Do you think you can be disciplined for 10 weeks to get your 10K? Do you think you can be willing to learn and be utilizing risk management for 10 weeks? Do you think, you know, I don't want to overhype you, but this is something that would, you know, whenever I've done challenges, it's where my best trading has come from. Whenever I've gone and done a challenge, when I've challenged myself, when I've set myself targets, that's where my best trading comes from, okay? But I tell you, like Akin had mentioned, it's all about willing to focus and, you know, reassess and really stick and be focused to a strategy and mastering it. So, of course, there's gonna be some prerequisites. You have to understand risk, you know, you have to have completed mastery course by now. I'm sure many of you have done this. solve, but you have to complete it. And the reason why is because then you will understand things like support and resistance zones, what leverage is, what pips are, all of the good stuff that you need to know, right? You need to understand risk management. What did we speak about today? I will be creating a special WhatsApp group for everyone who wants to be a part of this Traders Challenge. This is not something that you start because of hype and then you quit. No. If you commit to starting this challenge, you see it through for 10 weeks. So you have to commit. It's like when you, I don't know, I can't give you an scenario right now, but you have to commit. You have to go all the way through, right? You need to know how to, you have to attend this, launch as well. So thank you for attending. This is the first step in being ready for this challenge, okay? Now, the rules. What did someone just say? Sorry. Yeah, 10 weeks. Yeah, 10 weeks. Now, the rules. We are going to build this account from £100 to 10K using Trade, Kairos Empire signals, and any signals shared in our special group. Now, the idea is that, yes, we're going to challenge and build an account, a £100 account together. But what we're going to be doing as well is really building upon trader psychology, supporting us in terms of building up our trading acumen. So we understand and we learn strategies as well. This isn't about just copying and pasting, guys. This is about really becoming independent traders and really challenging everything you're learning on this journey towards achieving a targeted goal, having a destination, okay? That's what this trading challenge is going to be about. So guess what? We're going to be setting tasks around mindset. There's an amazing book called Trading in the Zone. Who's heard of that book before? Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. Who's heard that book before? Trading in the Zone. Right? It's a great book. It's a great book, especially about talking about the psychology of trading and why we do certain things and how to get ourselves out of certain funks, right? We're going to be reading things about like making forex, basic principles of trading. Like we're going to make sure that we are upskilling ourselves in this process. Why? Because remember what the Kairos Empire goal is and the vision. We want to build six-figure traders. We want to build six-figure traders. We want to build independent, consistent traders. So, yeah, please, right? Now, the challenge account that you're going to have has to be separated from any other account you have, okay? It's got to be a fresh account where you can put £100 in or dollars or whichever currency you trade in, and it has to be a standalone account, okay? And you have to complete the trader's log. So what the challenge looks like as a summary, you're going to be compounding your account, okay? And you're going to be compounding it daily at 90%. So therefore, at the end of the 10 weeks, you would have taken out at least £1,235. You would have taken that out. Money to chop on, money to put towards anything else you want to put on. But ultimately, you should end with around 11,000 in your compound account. Now, I've said 10,000 because of room for error, okay? We have to put room for error. Although technically, by calculation, it should get you to 11,000. We're aiming for the 10,000 mark, okay? Now, let me showcase to you what this looks like. Now, here's the 10 weeks. Now, you can expand on this and you can see how much you're going to be, technically you can make a day. But I didn't want to make it a daily thing because you can really reach these targets in one day or like in a couple of days. You don't need to be trading every day. Now, remember I said, I know my psychology traits. I know that I'm a bit addictive, so I have to limit how much trading I do. And, I tend to just trade a few times a week. I don't trade every day. For example, I don't really like trading on Fridays. That's just my thing. It might be different for others. Fridays tend to be my quieter days. And I don't like the fact that if I mess up on Friday, I don't have another day in the week to kind of like make it up. So I just don't personally trade on Friday. Anyway, on this spreadsheet, what I've done is showcase your starting amount. In your first week, you're only trying to get 15 pips. In your first week, 15 pips. So the profit that you should make in your first week is £67. Okay. And then it goes on. So in your first week you will take out £6.70. Wow, you can go and buy yourself some fried plantain with £6.70. Okay. In your second week you will be starting off with £160, and you will build it to 257, and you will withdraw £10. So on and so forth. So on and so forth, until we get to the beautiful week here where you are starting off with 6K and ending that week 4K strong to reaching the 11,000, or shall we say 10,000 pound mark. Now I've put possible lot sizes here in terms of what we could be trading. Demo, this is live. This is live. And why are we withdrawing? Because you want to chop money small, right? I mean, so we're compounding 90% of our account, right? And 10% is for us to take home, for us to eat. No, we don't have to compound the whole thing, right? What you can do is separate it and put into another account and build up another trading account with that. No, so you start off with £100, and every week we build on that £100. So on day one, you start off with £100. By the end of that week, you should have made a profit of £67. You leave in 61, and you take out £6.30 at the end of week one. You take out on Friday. So say for example, you start on Monday, you put in £100, ready for Monday. You make £67 in profit for the week. By Friday, you've made 67. On Friday, you withdraw £6.70. So then the next week, you start. You've now opened on Monday, the following Monday, with 160, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, I've put some possible lot sizes, and I wanted to do this so that to showcase you that you do not need to be doing huge lot sizes to get results. What if you don't want to withdraw? So you have to withdraw, please. What I would say is that withdraw it and put it into a separate account, or withdraw it and take it into your bank account. Now, I say that because of the psychology behind actually seeing money coming into your account. Some people may say money in your trading account, even if you've got in your trading account, until you've got it in your actual hands, or you can feel it or physically got it, it may not feel real. So that's why we say, look, either withdraw it or put it into a separate account, segregate it. And you can build that as well if you want to. Okay. So this is the trading challenge, right? Now, like I said, we'll be asking everyone to complete the trader's log. And I've added a column here for notes. And in here, I want you to be putting down I want you to be putting down where the source of that trade is. I go trade, Kairos signal, what's that group, whatever. I want you to be putting down the notes so that we can assess if things are going great with one or the other. Okay, so that is the trading challenge. Okay, That is the trading challenge. Who's excited? Who's excited? Now, how to be a part of this trading challenge? Like I said, you must understand risk management. You must attend this course, which you're all here for, and you must have completed the mastery course. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna get you to do. You need to prove to me that you've done this stuff. So what I'm gonna do is that anyone who wants to be a part of this group, so we're launching it tonight, and we go live with trading by Monday. So anyone who needs to set up a live account, how do you complete the mastery course? So the mastery course, so when I talk mastery, I'm talking about the basic, by the way. I'm not expecting you to do the whole thing. I'm talking about basic, right? So via the iGoTrade app, you can find it under the tab that's called Mastery, or you can find it under the Learn tab in your dashboard, your back office, okay? So yeah, what I would say is that anyone who wants to be a part of this exclusive challenge group, like I said, do not be overhyped and do it once, because once you enter, that's it. You're not coming out until end of 10 weeks. So make sure whatever you decide, if you're going to be a part of this, make sure you're doing it not because of the hype, but you know you're going to be committed and coachable for 10 weeks. Are you going to stick to this for 10 weeks? Okay. Reach out to me, showcase to me that you have completed the mastery course by detailing what are, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. So I'm going to give you those 3 questions. You have to give me the right answer to those 3 questions. And it'll be across risk management and other things within the mastery course, okay? So you got to answer 3 questions. That's it. I'm going to make it real easy. 3 questions to ask. You DM me, direct message me, and I will give you the question. So there's no copy and pasting, nobody telling people each other's answers, okay? Right? So DM me, I will send something in the group chat so that you know who I am. I'm Jennifer, by the way. DM me, and people are fast already, great. And I will get you to be a part of this group chat. So you've got until Monday, in fact, Sunday night, from tonight until Sunday night, to get your stuff ready. If you have not watched all of the mastery course, you've got until from tonight until Sunday night to get yourself ready. If you don't understand risk management, you've got between tonight and Sunday night to get yourself ready. If you know someone who's supposed to be on this call but couldn't make it, you know, we're recording this, you have to listen to it before tonight and Sunday night. Have yourself a trading account set up with your £100 in it. I would recommend an account that will allow you to trade that. A broker that will allow you to trade that on a lower lot size. Fantastic. Okay, so that was it. That was everything. That's all I wanted to speak about today. You know, that was it. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm excited now. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Thank you guys for listening and being willing to take take notes. I'm excited to start this challenge on Monday. You know, when we said we wanted to do something, we didn't just say it, we are taking action. So let's win together, guys. I'm excited to see you guys win. Let's go. Let's go, guys. Speak to you guys soon. Bye.